everybody, welcome back to another Sparky lesson. Tonight we are going to be in the book of Jonah. Jonah chapter 1 verses 1 and 2. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. So Nineveh was a wicked city. They did a lot of really bad things, and the Lord was going to destroy the city. Jonah was a prophet, and God told Jonah to go to Nineveh and warn them. God wanted to give them a second chance. Well, Jonah did not like this. Jonah was an Israelite, and the Ninevites were especially wicked towards the Israelites. Jonah did not like Nineveh. So instead of doing what he was told to do by God, he decided he was going to run away. So he got onto a ship that was on its way to Tarshish with a bunch of merchants on it. And while they were out on the sea, a great storm came upon them. And the ship was actually going to sink. So the sailors were throwing overboard the goods that they had brought with them and even their own supplies. They were trying to keep their boat from sinking. Well, Jonah finally told them that the storm was there because of him. He was trying to run from God. He told them to throw him overboard and the storm would stop. Now, the sailors were not going to do that. If you threw someone overboard, you were then guilty of murder, because someone being thrown overboard more than likely is not going to survive. So they said, no, we're not going to throw you overboard, and they kept trying to make the boat lighter by getting rid of their supplies, but it came to a point where they just could not anymore. So they threw Jonah overboard, and the moment he touched the water, the storm ceased. Now the sailors were of course happy over this, but they quickly began to try to get Jonah back into the boat. They didn't want to just leave him out on the open sea. Jonah chapter 1 verse 17. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. So the sailors were trying to get Jonah back into the boat, and God sent a great fish. This was probably a whale, and it swallowed Jonah whole. He was inside the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights. It was dark, no light whatsoever, and it probably smelled. Jonah was sorry that he tried to run from God and disobeyed him. Well, God had the fish, quite literally, vomit up Jonah on the banks of Nineveh. Jonah, however, still did not want to do what he was told to do, which was warn the people of Nineveh. Jonah chapter 3 verse 4. And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey, and he cried and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. Jonah went into the city, saying, 40 days, and your city will be destroyed. He didn't tell them how it was going to be destroyed. He didn't tell them by who or even why. He just said, your city is going to be destroyed in 40 days. He was doing everything he could to prevent the Ninevites from turning from their sin. He wanted them to pay for the wickedness that they had done. Well, God took those words and worked in the hearts of the people of Nineveh. Their eyes were open to the sin that they were committing, and they were very sorry for it. And they begged God to give them mercy. And God did. He gave them a second chance. He did not destroy the city. Jonah chapter 4 verses 1 and 2. But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry. And he prayed unto the Lord and said, I pray thee, O Lord, was not this my saying, when I was yet in my country? Therefore I fled before unto Tarshish, for I knew that thou art a gracious God, and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repentest thee of the evil. In other words, Jonah knew that God was going to forgive them. He did not want to go because of that. Sometimes life just doesn't seem fair, and that's how Jonah felt. When someone does us wrong, we want them to pay for it. But sometimes it seems like they never will, or they never do. We can let our anger and hatred get in the way of seeing the big picture. Jonah allowed his anger and his hatred to prevent him from seeing that God used him to save thousands of people from death and destruction. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's lesson. I cannot wait to see you next week.